Greetings and welcome back to Asafo Academic. This video, I got one question. I got one question to all the conservatives that found my channel. Why are you so mad? Please tell me why you're so mad. Why are you mad for? Now, the debunk series have gained a lot of attention, I should say. So I'm just going to go through each one and I'm going to show you the comments that were left. So the Douglas Murray and the Sky News, they try to redefine reparations. I got 13 dislikes. So 13 dislikes, logically, I should have 13 intelligent responses why they didn't dislike. So let's take a gander at the comment section. Greetings. Okay, let it load. Shout out to everybody showing me love. Can't forget the people showing me love. So we got the first comment. You're clearly a hurt and damaged soul. I feel sorry for you. And I replied, you're clearly an intellectual midget who can't measure up. Is Douglas yo daddy? Next one. Britain pillaged the entire world in quotation marks in response to what I said in the video. Tell me, where did Britain go to and fill up on the supposed riches? For example, what the fuck was there of any wealth in New Zealand? They went to other countries and traded. They were no worse and no better than all the other countries that were doing it. They were just better at it. Stop being so salty. So, I mean, I guess this was a mixed response. He didn't refute the central point of Douglas Murray and Sky News trying to redefine reparations. So he's moving the goalposts, but that's fine. That's fine. So he wants to talk about New Zealand, for example, right? So LOL, talking about New Zealand, learn to stay on topic. Using firearms doesn't make Europeans special, just barbaric in nature. So congratulations. So that was pretty much it. He tried, but wah, 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 it didn't really work. So that was the first troll or the first few trolls. I mean, the second comment, he tried, but he didn't even address what was mentioned in the video. So the Black conservative perspective, European chattel slavery is not African slavery. So we got in this video just two dislikes here. So we'll go. And there was a bit of there's more of a thoughtful response in this one. Okay. So William Blackwell, LOL, sorry you did not debunk anything. So he's trying to debunk my 13 points 13 points. So, one, it does not matter if the Europeans went overseas to get slaves. I say it's worse that than the Dahomey enslaved fellow Africans. Two, yes, they did, and they committed mass sacrifice of their slaves. So he's speaking about the Dahomey, but I was talking about enslavement within Africa as a whole because the Dahomey they developed plantations, but that is unique to the Dahomey. Three, yes, they did. They sacrificed thousands. He doesn't show any source for that. Four, the reason they didn't change their religion was because they were probably the same religion. Five, well, I'll actually speak to this. Um, what I meant by using religion was they didn't use a text or a source with verses in there that condoned slavery. So nothing in ancient African spirituality condones slavery the way Christianity did. Just to clear that up for them. Five, they sacrificed everyone. Again, no source at all. Six, how can they do that when they sold most of the slaves to Europeans or Arabs. 7, when the British put a stop to the homing overseas slave trade, they put the slaves to work on their palm oil plantations. 8, the homie captured all their slaves themselves and then sold them to Europeans or Arabs. When Europeans or Arabs came to Africa, they did not have the power to capture hundreds of people. The Europeans or Arabs just went to the coast and bought slaves from tribes like the Dahomey. Again, he's not showing any source, but he's basing his entire understanding through the Dahomey. That's the entire problem with his argument. 9, again, they sacrificed them. Of course, they were treated as subhumans. They were their slaves. So, in terms of like the whole concept of prisoner of war was different. Tribes went to war with each other and then they would capture the losing side, but that doesn't mean that they stayed subjugated to the winning side for the rest of their lives. They're eventually integrated into the society of that tribe. And if you want sources on that, you could go to the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. So I got the sources. Do these conservatives? I don't think so. So number 10, it does not matter the reason why they did it. They just did it. What you're doing is trying to condone Africans enslaving other Africans by saying they did not treat them that bad, but the white man did. Stop it. It was all bad. Um, your response was all bad because, firstly, I'm pretty sure he did not read any of the books that I mentioned. So that's already a loss right there because if you do not understand history the way that I've understand history and studied history, to be honest, what response could you really have? And we look at the response and it's all based on the Dahomey anyways. We get it. The Dahomeys, they're one of the biggest and they're one of the biggest perpetrators, but they did not represent all of Africa, right? So, one, you did not back up any of your claims. Two, the homie didn't represent all of Africa, which was clearly my point. Obviously, you only listen to respond and not to learn. How many books on ancient African history have you read? If so, name all of them because you're not even qualified to say what is and isn't true. End of the day, most of Africa treated captured or defeated tribesmen as prisoners of war. They still gave them fundamental human rights. Europeans didn't. You can deal with that fact or keep crying. Right wing nuts scream facts over feelings unless it fits their narrative. So he goes on to list African tribes that participated in destroying lineages of other Africans. So the Igbo, Nigeria, South Central and Southeastern Nigeria, Fulani, Nigeria, Senegal, West Africa, Yoruba, Benin, Nigeria, Dahomey, Benin of Dahomey, Ga tribe, Ga is Ghana, Hosa, forgot exactly where Hosa is, it's slipping my mind, Ashanti, Ghana, Alawite dynasty, Morocco, the Kanem Borno Empire, Cameroon, Chad, and Nigeria. The Shanghai Empire was one of the largest states in Africa and was located in West Africa. The slave trade was a huge part of the Shanghai Empire. The Mali Empire was based in current-day Mali from 1235, 1235 to 1670 AD. Bakango, Congo Empire, Fon, the Fon of Benin in southwestern Nigeria, largest ethnic group in Benin and also can be found in parts of southern Nigeria. Mende, collection of ethnic groups all over West Africa that speak the Mende language, with the most widely recognized Mende speaking nation being the Madinka Nation. Abron tribes, the Abron people, the borderlands of Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Burkina Faso were in the center of the Gold Coast slave region. As a result, many Abron fell victim to the very active slave trade in their area simply because they were located in a region in which the slave trade was intense. Wolof tribe. The Wolof people of Senegal and Gambia. The Wolof were made up of a variety of separate kingdoms, and constant wars between them led to enslavement amongst the Wolof, particularly with the arrival of Islam in Senegal, which was accompanied by jihad. So this is even more so. This was even so more so. It's Arab enslavement. Chamba tribe, people of northern Nigeria, parts of Cameroon. The Chamba were constantly raised by Fulani slave traders during the jihads of the 18th and 19th century. So the Fulani, he named the Fulani up here as well too. So this was actually a pretty good list, but I was not denying that other tribes did the same thing. I was not denying that. We know what happened. It's just that these conservatives think all black people don't know that this had happened. But I never denied that. Um, I mean, I guess this is his way of showing his sources. But again, I wasn't trying to deny that. What I was trying to show was the difference between how Africans treated their prisoners of war and Europeans treated the enslaved. So, I mean, he did try close, but no cigar, right? So, congratulations on proving a point I didn't deny. It's a shame right wingers are inept in processing new information. You can't cherry pick information and think it will stick with people who actually study history. No one is disputing that African tribes sold Africans from other tribes. A 14th point I forgot to make was that they treated other Africans like prisoners of war. The mentality wasn't to degrade or dehumanize them, which you're too slow to understand. Firstly, all those tribes don't represent all of Africa, and many are concentrated in the west and central location. A lot of that happened in Nigeria. Secondly, many of those tribes were not deeply involved with the Europeans like the Dahomey. All of these tribes had different levels of involvement. Dahomey happens to be one of the biggest ones. So King Ansa of Ghana had the Fanti watch out and kill Europeans. Senegal, Ghana, Benin, Nigeria, and Angola all resisted Europeans at one point, including the Ashanti and Bokango. King Agaja, a Dahomen monarch, Senegal king of Almami, passed a law that made it illegal to take enslaved Africans through his kingdom. And so after this Dahomen monarch passed away, the next monarch decided to restart enslavement within the Dahomey kingdom. Queen Nzinga of Angola fought a successful 30-year war against the Portuguese. Samori Toure resisted the French for decades. Other tribes that resisted were Imamate of Futa Toro, the Mosi Kingdom, the Jolo, the Bagas, the Kru, the Balanta, the Mbundu, the Madinka as well too. He mentioned the Madinka. Where was it? Where was it? Um, where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Right here, being the Madinka nation, they also resisted enslavement as well too. And a more notable one, the Zulus. And the Alawat that he tried to throw in there, they were Arabs, they were not Africans. See, over here in Morocco, you can really look at it as more of an Arab country in terms of the makeup of citizens in that area over long periods of time. So he just tried to throw the Alawat there as if that was facts. So I told him you got fed Thomas Sowell, and it shows. Go read some Dr. Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Ian Van Sertima, Chancellor Williams, Walter Rodney, and stop trying to give excuses for Europeans. It's pathetic how much you think you know. Bing, bang, boom. Easy work, easy work, easy work. Let's continue. Right. So debunked Africa is not poor because of colonialization. Jordan Peterson and Magat Wade. Here we got 5 dislikes, right? So we should technically have 5 Appropriate response is why
Please
people
read it.
didn't like the video, right? Right? Shout out to everybody showing love. Shout out, shout out, shout out. So Africa's poor because of shitty institutions, because the locals are too backward, tribal, corrupt to build and or maintain good neutral ones. Hong Kong was colonized. So was Singapore. They're rich as fuck because they got good institutions. You should read as I don't even know how to pronounce that. Why Nations Fail. And then somebody else decided to jump in. They were also of interest to white dominated colonizer institutions. Hong Kong was already a financial hub. Singapore was a small, useful territory to move enterprise to, especially during the Cold War to counter communism. It also happened to be an important shipping route. Don't just go on harping about how bad our institutions are, ignoring colonial interests and keeping many countries poor and small section of them rich using the very resources they were robbed from the poor countries. So this guy came in and drilled out of nowhere. Nowhere came with the drive by. I don't even know whoever this is. Good job. Thank you. To add on top of that, no country was colonized the same way as Africa. Stop trying to mix Africans' history with everyone else's. This is another thing. They like to put all colonialism of the world together as if other countries' colonial history is the same as Africa's. Not the same. Not the same. The facts is all there. The documentation is all there. You can't point to one country that was colonialized the same way Africa was. You can't point to no country that had the Berlin Conference, a conference of European countries get together and divide the country up. So continuing, no country dealt with policies further eroding the country like Africa. So you don't have the initial colonialization, and then you don't have the following to the end of colonialization, aka neocolonialism. Continue, you can't acknowledge poor leadership in Africa without recognizing the death of the history of neocolonialism. Colonialism, Hong Kong and Singapore is significantly smaller than Africa, so the solution must be significantly bigger. Bigger. So this person suggests that I read books rather than being a victim. All people around the world have been put to slavery at some point in history. I can go on. What about the thousands of years before the colonial rule and the years since they left? Africa should be the richest continent on the planet. Now the East Asia countries are pillaging Africa. I won't say they're pillaging, but there is a new form of the scramble of Africa happening, and Asia is definitely a part of it. It's funny how you suggest reading without naming any titles. Go read How Europe Underdeveloped Africa and get out of your alt-right echo chamber. Go read about Conference of Berlin 1884. You're a neophyte in history, most likely. Thomas Howell screwed up your brain. Be gone, you're not worthy of another reply. And I was serious about that. So this guy comes back with the same Why Nations Fall, Diamonds, Guns, Steels and Germs, and less academic, but not less interesting. Chebi's Things Fall Apart. So I don't know what he expects me to get out of these books. He didn't explain what I would be getting out of these books. I love how he says that colonizers stole African resources. Africans had no concept of using such resources. They didn't even know they had them. So I just fired back. You don't know what you're talking about. So many non-Africans came to Africa to do trade pre-colonial period, but you wouldn't know that because you're probably just a Jordan Peterson groupie. Again, um, well, I mean, that's pretty much it for this one. I mean, it was okay response, I guess. I mean, one of them was an okay response, firing back. But yeah, shout out to the random viewer that decided to jump in. I appreciate that. So the one that started it all off debunked Tucker Carlson. This is why they are attacking the Queen. He tried to give his case for colonialism, and we got 10 dislikes. So logically, we should have 10 intellectual responses. So let's take a
Indeed.
gander. Let's take a gander. So, first one, are you discussing the backstab to a video game or something? You need to confer with your viewer and see that if that person likes it. So, I don't know where this person just randomly came onto my video. I think this person generally randomly came onto my video because I have no clue what the F they're talking about. So then this person says, "Who died and made you king?" He got 2 likes. And I said, very intellectual response. I mean, the queen just died, but I didn't think of myself as a king when this video came out. So, who or what are you defending? Who or what are you condemning? And then it got 2 likes, and it's like, you got to listen to the video because everything I said was pretty much clear. I was reacting to somebody. So, I mean, that's pretty much it with this one. The trolls will be the trolls. We got some, proper responses, some responses that are close but no cigar. But, this fact checking, this checking is going to come with a territory 100%. I'm ready for it. I'm just keeping the swords sharp because I know these conservatives, they don't got nothing for me. They got fed one perspective and they left out a whole library of scholarship that they're not ready for. They're not ready for it. They haven't been challenged. And they say, this is another thing before I close off. The conservatives like to say that they should there needs to be more discourse, more discussion. But they're gonna deny all this scholarship. I mean, that's 100% not true. They want to be able to control the narrative. But again, like I said, they have not been challenged on the scholarship that has been out speaking about the African history and the nature of Africans before Europeans came on. So that's it for this video. The trolls are coming, but I'm not scared. Like I said, the swords are staying sharp. They are not politically or intellectually on my level. So I'm just chopping heads in the comment section. So if you're a conservative, watch out. I'm either just gonna get you mad, so you better come correct. You better come correct, or else your head will get cleaned off. You don't know what hit you, just gonna get more mad. So peace out to the next video. I'm out.